The thing about Prince Harry, is the fact that he doesn't really know when to shut up, you know what I'm saying? And the bigger picture that you've got with somebody like that, as I pointed out recently, that security thing that he tried to, well, basically everybody said, didn't they, don't do it, don't do it. But Harry went ahead and then lost spectacularly a lot of money. And yet, he seemingly thought that he was able to pull in that security for him, his wife, and of course the children that nobody ever sees. Well, we do now, because obviously they're getting desperate and they're putting it out there and all of that sort of stuff. But you see, Harry himself, as I said, never really endears himself to the people of Great Britain, the United Kingdom, the Commonwealth, because he makes one daft decision after another. As ever, let me explain. Morning, nice to see you, chums. Thank you so much for joining me today, and as ever, lovely to have your company. I'm glad you enjoyed, by the way, that wonderful story about the late and brilliant Queen Victoria and her fear of being on film. It's something I suffer from, as you can stop it, but you know what I mean? It's a thing, isn't it? You've got to remember, I've often wondered that, when they first had the films and there was this great film with, where the railway was coming towards you as, you were sat in the cinema, and you must have ducked and thought that train's going to run over me because you'd never seen it before. It must have felt like that. Anybody else also think the same thing until I found this out about how the brilliant comedian Harold Lloyd, do you remember when he's hanging off the clock? I always thought it was real. And then you find out, that's the thing of the internet, isn't it? It's a bit upsetting. You think it's not real at all. It's a little bit like Prince Harry and his Invictus Games. A lot of problems behind the scenes of the Invictus Games. A lot of damage actually is being done for potential sponsors, investors and donators, whatever you want to call them. And that's all thanks to the fallout of the Centre Barley debacle with Dr. Sophie Chenduka. She pointed out, didn't she, that once Harry decided to leave, the United Kingdom, the royal family, that lots of sponsors backed away. And then, of course, Meghan put her size 12s in it by basically rocking up with her own film crew for, as ever, Netflix, Polo, whatever that was. And that sort of ruined the commerciality factor of it, because suddenly it wasn't a charity, it was a commercial venture. Not quite sure, and this is going to be interesting, whether that will come out in the documentation. But now Harry, looking ahead not to Birmingham Invictus Games, which is going to be funny in itself because Birmingham Council have gone bust. So who's going to be paying for that? But apparently that's the next one. Harry now, though, has decided that, guess what? A war zone in 2029, Ukraine, could be the ideal place to present, yes, Invictus. Has already started to erupt over here because, as we know here in the United Kingdom, each time President Zelensky turns up to 10 Downing Street, some people say it's like an ATM, a cash machine, and really they won't have that money. Now, I don't wish ill on anybody, and I understand the difficulties that they're going through, but the bigger problem that you have is a country asking them to rebuild in a matter of a couple of years with the potential to host a groundbreaking sporting event is impossible. So Harry, once again, is going to be piling on more pressure for the British taxpayer to fund something that actually doesn't benefit Great Britain. Now, one might say, of course, that if the Invictus Games take off in Birmingham in a couple of years' time, well, that's going to be problematic because he says he can't return with his wife and his children and he doesn't feel safe. So without him being here, then who's going to be heading the Invictus Games? As I pointed out in a recent video, the people behind the scenes really want the real royals, His Majesty the King and the Prince and Princess of Wales, to attend. But if they're not speaking to Harry, Meghan and so-so, well, that's going to be rather fraught and problematic. Once again, Harry's not thought this through, and it looks like Invictus could implode for all the wrong reasons. Neil Sean in the very heart of Yorkshire.